Namaste, welcome to the spiritual aspects of Agnihotra, our 18th session in this series. Last week we have discussed two mantras, Om Udbuddhya Swagne and Om Ayant Idma Atma, where we noticed that there is a loop of Agni, the energy, so to say. What we noticed was that we begin the fire using certain samidhas, sticks, wood sticks, and that has its origin from the sun, the Surya. And the sun has its origin from the Supreme Consciousness, Ishwar, who is the maker of the sun, who is the true sun, Surya, and in his capacity, he has made this Surya, the sun, the physical fireball that we see. So now the Yajman is fully aware of the chain, that Samidha is from the Surya and Surya is from the Ishwar, and now when he sees it in front of him, Asmin Sadaste, Ajutta Asmin, he realizes this physical fire in this tiny vessel that is in front of me can take me Uttayasmin to the sun, the Surya, and also to the Ishwar. And if I harmonize with them in a proper manner, then these are capable of giving me all that is aspired by a human being. Ishtapurte, Abhyuday and Nishayas both. And that has been well described in the Ayant Idva Atma, where this yajna is not this physical yajna only with the samidha, but my entire life is yajna, where I must put my heart and soul, Atma, as the samidha, as the idma. And the proof of that will be that not only the inner fire will come out, idhyasva, and it will expand vadhasva, and in so doing, it will ignite the neighboring samidha also. So if I am merely a well-developed human being, I should be able to inspire others in my society, community, that they also become Iddha and Vadhaya. And such an organized effort will give rise to good children in our society, good animals that being milk and the drought power. This takes care of Ishta, the worldly well-being. But also I will benefit from the spiritual knowledge and ability to articulate it, Brahmavachasa. And then I will be distributor of this, not just mere possessor of it, another. The physical wealth as well as spiritual wealth, I will be able to give away to others in need. And today we come across, I hope in this hour I can complete these three mantras. They are from Yajurveda 3rd chapter, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. They go like Om Samidhagnim Duvasyata Getai Bodhayata Titim Asmin Havya Juhotana Swaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namam. The Yajurved mantra actually ends with Juhotana. As we will see, like I am showing from Yajurved commentary by Maharishi Dayananda. This is original Yajurved, 3rd chapter, 1st mantra. The ending is at Juhotana. But when it is utilized in the Agnihotra, then certain endings have been suffixed as the Swaha that we have discussed last week also, because it appeared here. And also in this particular mantra it is Idam Agnaye Idam Namama. This is also something we have discussed last week. The second one is Om SuSamiddhaya Shochishe Ghitam Tivyam Juhotana Agnaye Jatvedase. The third is Om Tantva Samidhayangyu Ghitena Vadhayamasi Bhachochayavishthya Swaha Idam Agnaye Angeyase Idam Namam. So these 3 mantras, they make a triad. Very interesting. And this is in the context of having ignited the flame. Now we put in 3 samidhas that has been wetted with ghee. And these 3 numbers we have seen is coming from the dialogue of Nachiketa with Yama. So that 3 samidhas, the first one is given by this mantra, which we discussed last week. The second one by 2 of these, then third one by this. So these are 3 samidhas, and the principal mantras, 3 out of the sequence of 4 are coming from 3rd chapter, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd mantra. And again, now there are 3 kinds of fire, Agni. Here we say it is Agni, Idam Agnaye, Idam Namama. Here we say Agni and Jat Vedas. So this is called Chaturthi singular. Chaturthi is dative. So Agni becomes Agnaye. Here also Agnaye. So Agni is common denominator in all this. But this Agni has been discussed as Jat Vedas here. Jat Vedas, the dative singular becomes Jat Vedase. The term here is Angeyas. That in dative singular becomes Angeyase. So we are seeing 3 kinds of Agni, fire. Agni, Jat Vedas, and Angeyas. That is very interesting. And they correlate with what we have discussed 2 weeks ago, Bhu Bhuva Swaha also. Bhu is the world that we live in, the earth. Bhuva corresponds to the space in between the earth and the sun. And Swa corresponds to Dyulok. So Prithvi Lok is Bhu, Antariksh Lok is Bhuva, and Dyulok, that is the sun, that is Swaha. So we have discussed 3 lokas, and now we are looking at, and we have discussed last week, 2 weeks ago, that the fire in this world, on the Prithvi, on the earth, is characterized as Agni. The fire in the space is characterized as Vidyut. And fire in the Dyulok is characterized as Surya. So we have discussed that. And today we have three terms for these three levels of Agni, three levels of fire. The first is Agni, the second is Jat Vedas, and third is Angeyas. So we want to understand them. What are these three levels of Agni, fire, that I mentioned in these three mantras? Now in the first one, again there are three parts, so to say. Samidhagnim duvasyata. This is part one, where the means is Samidha. And let's look at what Maharishi Dayananda is at. So here is the first part. Samidhagnim duvasyata. Agnim and duvasyata, when they have been brought together, that makar becomes nakar. Because the next one is from dental sound. So dental sound, the pancham word, fifth is na. So the ma became na. Anyway, that is not that important here. There are three terms here. Samidha, Agnim, Duvasyata. So Agni now is being described. So we have seen Agni, Jat Vedas and Angeyas, three planes of Agni. Now within this plane of Agni, again there are three subdivisions, so to say. So that is division one, that is generated by the Samidha. And Maharishi Dayananda is elaborating this term, which we have discussed partly, Samyag Idhyate. The Samidha is Sam and Idha. So Sam is a prefix for Samyak Prakayena. When something is properly done, that is called Samyak. So he is reminding us the term Samidha has a fire, has a fuel within it, has an ability to give rise to fire, but this is not just simple wood, so to say. This is properly collected, properly cleaned, and properly recognized. So it is not just mere wood, it is Samidha. So every wood is burning, every wood has that Idha power, but this is Samyak Prakayena. So it is Samidha. Yaya Taya, this is accusative, out of which what is Pradipyate, some flame will come out. So that is the true meaning of the term Samidha, that this is properly chosen and this has the fire within it, which of course has come from the sun, and that has come from Ishwar, and all that is stored by it. And if it is properly worked upon through that frictional force, then it will exhibit also that. So that fire will get exhibited into that Bhautikam Agnim, the physical fire that we see, Duvasyata, that will become visible, is it not? So Samidha, this first part is saying Samidha has a hidden fire within it, and if it is properly worked upon, then it gives rise to that visible fire. That is very well stated and we understand it. Now within the first plane of fire, now we are seeing three subdivisions, starting with what we have just now described. And then it says in the second part, Gitae Bodhayata Atithim. Here also there were three terms, Samidha, Agnim, Duvasyata. This verb is coming third. Here it has been placed in the second. So in this kind of sequencing, we will say Ghetae, which is accusative, Titiya, singular. Now instead of Agnim, now we should say Atithim. Ghetae, Atithim. Instead of Duvasyata, here the term is Bodhyata. Now this was physical fire. That is visible to our eyes, is it not? Bodh is the knowledge now. Now this is transcending to second level. So within first level plane, we are being said that Agni, the fire, has another capacity. It is not just purely physical light, but through that physical light, we get to know things, is it not? So that is our knowledge part. That is also very much within the purview of fire, that Agni, that it can become source of knowledge to me, which is not that easily seen here, is it not? That is why it is Atithim. Atithim is avidyamana tithiyasyatam. It is not existent. It is not that easily visible to us. So it is, but it can come out of the blue anytime, is it not? That is what is the true meaning of Atithi. Atithi is a Devta who can enter into my house unannounced, is it not? At this point, I don't see him, but he can just knock at the door and enter into my house. So that is Atithi. So Gheta is now, Samidha was easy to acquire. I just have to walk into the woods and pick up so many fallen sticks are there. I pick them up, come home, I have a Samidha, is it not? But when it comes to Gheta, it is not that easily visible. It is not that easily acquired. I have to raise a cow, I have to love her, I have to feed her, then it in turn, she gives me milk. And then I have to work upon that, exert some effort on that milk by way of making it yogurt and then churning it, and through the cream and through the processing. The end product of that is gheta, the ghee, is it not? So gheta, he is saying shodhita, sugandhyadi yukta, means it requires a lot of intelligent effort. Then I generate ghee. That further enhances the fire, is it not? Otherwise, the fire would extinguish. Any Samidha's fire will extinguish after some time. But with the proper combination of ghee, it kinds of enhanced and it exists for longer time duration, is it not? So Samidha, next level is Gheta. And then what was visible fire, that can make me see the things around me. Now I get to know certain types of knowledge, which a higher level Atithi can show it to me, can give it to me, is it not? So this is the first level of fire which is on the earth in our world that we move on. Even here, there are three subdivisions. One is the physical fire that gives the light of physical light, and I am able to see the things around me. Then within the world that I live in, there are second level of fires. If I exert make some efforts, then such Atithi Devata will walk into my house and they will share their knowledge with me, and I will benefit from them. So instead of Agni, now it is Atithim. Whose Agni, whose fire is that of knowledge, not just physical light, but the light of knowledge. Is it not? Now the third part, third subdivision, Asmin Havya Juhotana. In the physical plane, we will say that Juhotana is now, I am putting it into fire certain stuff that is called as Havya. So I am servicing the fire. Asmin. Asmin is also interesting. This is A plus Asmin. A is another prefix, like some was a prefix. They are called as Upsarg. So some was Samyakate. A is for Ang Achadane, as if it covers from all directions, 360 degrees, not only in the two-dimensional plane, but in three-dimensional space, So I see the fire, localized fire, but now I imagine this can go everywhere in space. Asmin, Agnav. This is Saptami, singular. So it has within it, there is so much. So what is Saptami is locative. So within it, the physical fire that I see has the capacity to datum, to give away in all the directions whatever I am putting in. So I see this fire as a means to spread out all the goodness. So in physical sense, that's why we do Agnihotra. We put a nice kind of herbal substances, and then we hope and we see it happening, that fire vaporizes all those substances into vapor phase and sends it away in all directions. Is it not? So that is the power of physical fire. And here, in the spiritual context, because this Agni, as we discussed last week, is capable of transporting me to Ishwar. That's where it came from, the Samidha. Now I say, the knowledge part that I get from the worldly sources, my teachers and others who are Atithim, they are also, I am very concerned that this means of knowledge should be everlasting, it should be endless, is it not? And that's what I can say, that if my community has generated some Atithim, I will come to this term Atithim slightly later, but let me see, complete this series, these three subdivisions. I want that mechanism that gives rise to the birth of Atithim in my community. I want to be a part of that mechanism. And that mechanism is described in Asmin Havya Juhotana. Like our Gurukul, Acharyakul, education process, all that, I want to feed into it my resources so that this process is never ending. Now, what is this Atithi? Is very important to understand, because we know a statement in Taittiriya Upanishad, when the child's education is over, then the Acharya is giving him kind of last updesh. That is what we will say is graduation ceremony now in modern terms, or convocation address. So there he says, when you go home, you remember your mother and father are Devata. Matadeo, Pitadeo. Then don't forget your teachers also, Acharya Devo Bhava. And don't forget Atithi Devo Bhava. So a child now who is a young man or young woman is being told that you have three kinds of devatas in your life, and you should take their care, respect them, treat them as devata. So devata is one who gives all kinds of goodness, and as a person at the receiving end, I should acknowledge what they are giving to me and express my gratitude by giving certain things that are necessary. That's what is Deva Puja. So Yajna is nothing but Deva Puja, Dev Sangati, Dev Daneshu. So that is what the teacher is reminding his students when they are about to leave the Gokul place of education and return to their homes. So here this statement, Mata Devo Bhava, Pitta Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava, is giving us three levels of devatas. Like mother and father are at a level 1, Acharya, etc., teachers are in the level 2, and Atithi is level 3. So this has to be understood so that we can get proper sense out of this. Mother and father are level 1 because they give us goodness through their words. They have nice words to tell us. But sometimes when it comes to deeds, what is called karmana. So now my focus is manasa vacha karmana. So man is the thought, vacha is corresponding to the words, and karm corresponds to deeds. So the devatas who are good, giving us good words, are Mata and Pita, level 1, but they may fail in their acharana, karmana. Some of their deeds may not be very much what is suitable to a devata. In their deeds, they may fail once in a while, and the child, as a grown-up child, may notice it. So he has to be aware of that yes, they are nice people, but they have some shortcomings. And that's where in a community, say a village of about 200 families, whatever that is, every home has a Mata and Pita. Every home has a Devata, but they are Devata for their own child, basically. They may not be Devata in a wider orbit, is it not? So that's where it is conceptualized that the village, all the parents of the village come together. And then they say, we need to have a school, a Gurukul, an Acharya Kul. But the Acharya must be one level above us. That's why we would like to send our children to that place, because we say that parents have done their best to educate. Now the child ought to go to a place where there can be additional learning. So the teacher in the Gurukul, Acharya Kul, must be a Devata of higher order. So we 200 set of parents are also good people as far as our relationship with our children are concerned, but our acharan is sometimes failing. So let us find one out of us who is a better Devata for all the children of our community. And we appoint him as our Acharya. So Acharya is a second level of Devata whose words are good as well as whose acharan and karma is good, is it not? Now you imagine as a larger base of at a county level, district level, or at a state level, all the acharyas get together. Then they say, okay, we have some duties to our communities that we present, and we have been doing well to their children because we have been saying good words and we have been a role model for them by minding that our acharan is also of superior quality. But let's face it, that sometimes we have been failing in our thoughts, is it not? Sometimes deep inside, we may harbor dvesh and all lust and all other things. So manasa-wise, we may not be of a higher order. Let us select, if possible, among, say, these 200, 500, 1,000 of acharyas, a person who is pure at a higher level, not only at the level of words, but at deeds as well as thoughts. He never harbors even impure thoughts. And then we acknowledge him, recognize him as he is free to move anywhere without any appointment. He can enter anywhere. And that person is Atithi Dev. So Atithi Dev, as I have described, is the highest order Devata among our communities. And then they are free to move anywhere, whether they look like a sannyasi or not, but they are well known among the community that if he ever knocks at your door, you should open and welcome him. Because he is a Devata, he will only give things to you and he won't take away anything from you. So you should have no fear. And that you deserve only if you have some effort. So he won't just walk in your home just like that. If you have enough fire to seek knowledge of higher quality, then only he enters into your household, is it not? So this is at a bodhayate level. And if you are happy with him, you know it, you should put in your resources as Havya Juhotana. This whole mechanism that gives rise to such kind of devatas in your community. The whole education system, and not just bookish education, but the education is such that the Mata Devo, Pitta Devo can become Acharya Devo and can become Atithi Devo. So we have seen here, in the world that we live in, that the Agni that we have generated represents not only the visible fire, visible physical light, but it has within it the light of knowledge, and I can complete the cycle so that this is an eternal cyclic process. Very interesting, these three mantras that we have covered more or less, the first one. Let's move on to the second one. SuSamiddhaya Shochise. Ghritam, that Makar has become again Nakar as described earlier. So again there is SuSamiddhaya Shochise Ghritam Tivyam Juhotana. So if I am feeding it well to that fire, then it becomes Tivyam. Tivyam Mahesh Dayanand is writing, Sarva Dosharanam Nivayane Tikshana Swabhav. Tikshana is something very penetrating, is it not? In the physical sense now, the first mantra referred to the ability of fire to vaporize the substance. The fire that is generated by Samidha and is made with a slightly longer lifetime by ghee, is it not? So the Samidha generates a kind of base fire and its lifetime is elongated by ghee and its intensity is also enhanced, and then it is capable of vaporizing the substances that you offer to fire. That part we have seen. Now that same fire in the physical plane we are discussing has this power of Tivyam Juhotana. It can, what Maharishi Dayanand wrote, that was so interesting. In the first mantra, with Agni, I didn't talk about that. He writes, Agni, where did I see it? He uses the word Roop, Daha. Yeah, here it is, sorry. Right here in the second month. Agnaye, he's writing Roop, Daha. This is visibility aspect. Daha is heat aspect, because fire can gives us light, physical light, and heat. Prakash. Now this is, it can refer to the light of knowledge also. Prakash, like Patanjali is saying, Prakash Kiya Sthiti. So Prakash is enlightening. Then this is important, Chedan. Chedan is, which goes with the word Tivya, which has penetrating thing. So Chedan is to separate, and that is what Shochise is. Shochise is Shodhite Dosh Nivayak. So the first mantra was in the nature of vaporization of the offering. But now this second is saying it can separate out, like if there is a substance, if you heat it, then it gets purified and impurities are separated out. So if you melt, say, iron, then its impurities are in that slug, they are removed, and then you have powerful steel, is it not? Or if you heat, say, gold, then you get finally the 100% pure gold, shining gold. And other things are separated out. So that is Shodhite, the purification part. Is it not? So now the fire has not only the ability to vaporize a substance, but it can also purify the things, and air gets purified. You know, all the positive things are put into the atmosphere, and what is not capable of burning or impure things that are in the ash form. So here in the physical plane, fires, besides the property of vaporization, it is now ability to separate out the wanted and unwanted stuff, because it can penetrate. Chedan is to penetrate deep inside. So, Shochise Tivyam goes with this property of Chedan of the Agni. So, Agni is here. And that gives rise to the second level of, second plane that we were interested in, Jat Vedas. So, Jat Vedas in our spiritual dimension will mean this is a compound word. Jat is to give birth, Ved is to know. So this can mean whatever is born is to be known. So now this is in the second plane, the fire has the, Agni has the property. Of course, it is knowledge direction. So I can know anything that has taken birth, is it not? So previously in the first month, Bodhyata Tithim, where I can know anything that is in the world, visible world, seeming. Now here I am saying I can penetrate into these things. So even the things that are invisible things. So any coarse substance, like say Havantamaki, that is a solid stuff, is a, it has a lattice structure of the molecules, is it not? Same molecules, or let's say a glass of water. If it is a pure water, it is H2O everywhere, is it not? Every drop of water has H2O. Now if it is vaporized, then it is water vapor, which is also H2O. Now same thing is happening to a solid substance. You know, so many herbal substances we use in Agnihotra. They also become molecular. So now they have just become the same. Chemical structure is same. But now it is not in solid phase or liquid phase. It is in vapor phase, is it not? Like we are familiar with ghee. At a cold temperature, it may be slightly solid. Then it is liquid. And then in Agnihotra, we can very well sense it. We can smell it when it is vaporized. But even then, the vaporized ghee is in the molecular structure is same as what was in the solid phase, or what was that, or in the liquid phase or in the vapor phase, that molecule is same, say H2O or whatever it was. But now it has been, as if it has been broken into molecules. One molecule is going there, another molecule is going there. The binding agent that was holding the bond, holding molecules together, has now been broken. That is what I am trying to describe. The property of the fire at XVIII, the intermolecular bond, whatever that was, has been broken. Now one molecule is, the molecule number 1 is here, molecule number 2 is elsewhere. In the previous state, they were together, they were bonded together. Even in vaporized phase, maybe they were together. But further heating has given rise to the breakup of intermolecular bonding, is it not? So now, from the knowledge perspective, I used to know the gross stuff, what is called in philosophical, Vedic philosophy, Vishesh substance. They are made of Mahabhut, Panchabhut, that is there. But now in the knowledge faculty, all that is born, not only the gross, but what is avishesh substances. Avishesh is like ahankar, panch tanmatra, what is at a subatomic level. That can also be known, is it not? So now, like as a scientist, you can break any system, any stuff, anything into its smallest piece, and you can get to know it. Because this is also born. This is also made out of something. So anything that has been born from Prakriti, Mahat, Ahankar, and so on, all that can be known if you use your penetrating intellect in such a manner, beyond what we have covered in the first mantra. So this is a higher plane of knowledge, and a second plane of fire, that is called Jat Vedas. So if you have this fire in your mind, then that Agni will of course help you and get to know many other things that a common person is not able to do it. Now that is what takes us to the third segment, the third mantra, where we get to know Angeyas. Tantva, Samidhya. So still the journey is through the Samidha. And that git which we have been pouring, that reflects our effort, is it not? So ghee is made out of intelligent effort. So that fire is born and is kept alive in the first mantra also. And in the second, it takes me to the higher level of intellectual plane, that I can decode things that are in Jat Vedas. And now I can decode things that are in the Angeyas mode. Angeyas, as we can see, is very much what is Angani Papyati Yah so Angeya. Ang is, anything is a synthetic thing, and its parts are called as Anga. So Ang is like I as a human being is Purush and my Buddhi put together. So my buddhi and all this, okay, I can get to know through Jat Vedas. But if I have further discriminatory ability, and that's what is the word. Here the Shoch word is there, the purification power. And then there is another word is Yavishthya. So, first, second, third, they are building up one above other. Grit was common. Then the second mantra had a parameter of purity. That was Shochishe. And that continues to remain here in the third. And now I am generating an ability what is called Yavishthya. Yavishthya is very important term. Let's see how Atishayan, Ya Atishayan, very enhanced state. Yuva Padathanam. Yuva is something that never gets old. So this is a ability which is in a very enhanced stage. And all the things that are brought together and can be amishikaran. Mishra is mishikaran, bringing together. And amishikaran is their separation, is it not? That reflects our discriminatory ability. So discriminatory ability discriminates between Purush and Prakriti. So now here is the person. So in the second level, my intellectual power was that I could see a wooden desk, but as a wood scientist, I can know the individual molecules of wood and their structure and can even investigate at subatomic level. And at the third level now I can even discriminate between Purush and Prakriti, is it not? Where the Purush is consciousness and my buddhi is an evolute of the Prakriti, which I can get up to the second level. I can go to Avishesh, namely what is called Vitak Vichar Anand Asmita Rupanugamat Sampajyat Yoga, is it not? Up to that point, where I can go up to whatever is born, whatever is made. But there are certain things, they are unborn, like Purush and Prakriti. They are unborn, they are eternal, is it not? And they require further higher order of penetrating intellect that is beyond Shochaya, is called Yavishthya. And that is the property of the fire that is called Angeyas. That has the urge to go to each component of anything that exists, Anga. So even I am a part and parcel of duality, is it not? My body frame and even mind is made of particles, made of Prakriti, but me, the consciousness is Purush. So I am a, so to say, I have been made as if Purush and Prakriti have been brought together. And if I can discriminate between them, called Vivekhyati, then I get to know part and parcel of me in a thorough sense, is it not? Very interesting what we have discussed today. The set of three mantras, Samidhagnim Duvasyata Getaivu. They reflect three levels of fire. Level 1, Agni. And within that Agni is the power of Jat Vedas and another power of Angeyas. This gets to know, allows me to get to know all that is Vishesh, made of Panchabhut, the visible world, Here I can go through Jat Vedas, all that is evolute, what is given rise, what is born out of Prakriti, and is not easily visible to us to the naked eyes, what is called avishesh. And that requires sampajyat yoga, vitark vichar ananda smita samadhi, and then further effort. That effort is represented by the word greta, which is a common parameter in all these three mantras. So even this, even the physical fire requires me to make an effort to generate that greta. And that effort I must exert to a greater and greater extent so that my intellectual ability graduates from Agni to Jat Vedas to Angeyase, and constantly realizing they are nothing but unfolding of Agni. We are never away from Agni. Agni is unfolding itself to these other deeper forms. Very beautiful collection of these three mantras. In physical sense, it is the fire that gives rise to vaporization of the substances we put into it. That further purifies the air surrounding it because all those molecules have been broken into what Maharishi Dayananda writes in Satyat Prakash. Chinna bhinna kar deta hai. And he gives an example of a green chili. If you put that, if you eat it, you start sneezing. But if you put one green chili in the fire, 500 people around will start sneezing, is it not? Because it has done backup of molecules. But now the third part, the physical fire does this. That's why this mechanism of Agnihotra is so important, because only this has the capacity to discriminate and throw away the bad air in household, the indoor air, how to purify it. Nobody in the world knows it. There is stagnant air in the corners of the walls, in the ceilings. That has been there for years. If you put big, powerful exhaust fan, even then that won't come out because air current will be, okay, will generate a pressure differential and room air will go out of the windows wherever you have put that fan. But the air in the corner, of course, to a lesser extent, but it still continues to stay there. But if you do Agnihotra in that room, then it generates all kinds of buoyancy, all kinds of air currents due to the heat generated, and that will wake up the vortex. That pool of air which has been stagnating in that corner, it will throw it out, and that corner will be now occupied by fresh air, is it not? So that is the power of Angeyas. It can discriminate even in the physical sense. Agnihotra has a power which no other system has it, that indoor air, in thorough sense, it can be purified. It can be displaced and replaced by the pure atmospheric air. And in spiritual context, we have seen this journey of knowledge from Vishesh to Avishesh to Vivekyati. Thank you very much for your attention. We will continue next week and move further. The next mantra is Om Ayanti Dvatma. That is recited 5 times, but we have already discussed it. So just a few remarks why it is cited 5 times. And then we will move on to Jal Pasechan, where again we see the magic number 3, that what should I say? The 3 mantras are there. Aditi, Anumati, Saraswati. But there are 4 sides of we sprinkle water on the 4 sides. So magic number 3 is there, and then 3 is taken as a bundle, and bundle is given as 4. So these are interesting ways of theirs counting. So next is Ayantid Mahatma, where we are asking for 4 things: Praja, Pashu, Brahmvachas, and Annad. But then it is recited 5 times as if these 4 things individually and their bundle is also counted as 1. So it becomes 5th thing. So there is a question that I will take up in my question answer session tomorrow. And let's hope we have a good time and see you again next week.